recording right now, and we're live. We're live. We're live with the Cowsills. Who knew? I did not know this. I promoted this whole thing as Bob was coming on, and it didn't dawn on me until 2 hours ago when you said we that I'm gonna get the lot of you.
It's the lot of us.
Okay. So tell us where you are and what you're doing this week now.
Somebody take it.
We are in our dressing room in Effingham, Illinois.
I love that name.
We're going to play tonight at 7:30, start this show off for the 41st time, maybe I don't know how many times. We're on a 57-city tour, and the buses are outside, and we're going to have dinner after this and do the show, and then we're going to head to St. Louis, Missouri tomorrow. No, St. Charles. Sorry, St. Charles. And they're just one-nighters until August 31st.
And so this is the Happy Together tour. And how many years have you guys been doing this?
11. This is our 11th year.
Okay, now I'm really curious about this because you guys have new music out, but I'm assuming that when you're doing the Happy Together tour, you just do hits. Correct. Okay.
That's what this whole tour is about, is for everybody's 4 or 5 or with whatever hits from the 60s. It's a cavalcade of stars.
Yeah.
And so this year it's a slightly different lineup than what I saw a few years ago. So who's on the tour with you guys?
We have the Vogues, we have Gary Puckett, we have Little Anthony.
Oh my gosh, crazy.
Incredible. Jay and the Americans, and ourselves, of course, and the Turtles.
Yeah, so that's Ronnie.
Excellent.
That is, and so you guys historically have always opened the show. I assume you're opening the show.
We are.
History repeating itself right up in here.
Yeah.
So the problem for me is that it's very hard for anybody to follow you. I've seen a couple of bands follow you because you guys are pretty damn dynamic.
Well, go ahead, Paul.
No, go ahead.
Well, that's a very nice comment, but we would of course explain on this particular lineup. You have the Cowsills. Now the Cowsills come out. We're the Animaniacs. We don't have much to say. We're bouncing around. We're having a blast. We're getting the party going.
Started.
And what works now is the Vogues who follow us. You still have great harmonies, but now you got a little comedy. You got a little audience interaction.
They're a little mellow.
Then you have Gary Puckett, and you get to experience his fans who love him so much.
Yep.
And then we have an intermission. Then Little Anthony comes in and kicks the whole thing off again. Just blows the place apart. Jay and the Americans keeps it up there. The bar's up now. And then the Turtles come in and just slam the deal shut.
Boom.
And then we have the big finale, and everyone's happy, and it's a hoot.
Every night.
And so when I saw you guys, it was not all people my age. There was a lot of tie-dye, but it wasn't all. You know, there were young people. So young people come, right?
Well, yeah, and they do come, but the reason they're coming is to take their grandma, who's been talking about this for years, or their own mom, you know, and so we will see an old person, and then we'll see young people around that person, and I think, you know, those people have been talking about this, and the grandkids or the kids went, oh, come on, let's take mom to this concert.
From that has always been born. However, like our fans, our grandmas, that's what we all are right now. Some of their kids or that generation have definitely picked up on the 60s thing. They come on that Flower Power cruise.
Yeah.
There is a subset of 20 to 40 somethings that dig this retro music.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing.
And you had Dumb and Dumber, which had Rain the Park and other things in it.
Okay. Galaxy 2 had the Jay and the Americans hit in there. So,
right.
You know.
What we found is some of our songs have entered pop culture.
Correct.
Which brings in the youth.
Younger people.
I mean, if
right.
in the 3rd episode of Chucky on Netflix, and he's killing an Uber driver by shoving an umbrella down his throat, and they're playing the Rain the Park and other things. Well, that's pop culture. And that's happening now.
Paul, I'm going to close Paul's ears because we're not Chucky fans, and he just now is realizing
at all.
That's part of what Rain the Park was used for, which is much rip us apart.
And it's funny because I saw one of the comments that says, "Hey, kudos to the Cowsills for balancing such horror with their beautiful sound." But we didn't do it.
We didn't tell them not to. That we call that mailbox money, which we never got much of when we were kids. So now we actually receive our royalties, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so
There's another Netflix. You said there were two. What's the other one that?
I remember it was
Yeah.
what was the name of
It
it?
was about a guy who was controlling his girl and.
It's episode 6.
it's episode
It's
6.
a phrase like,
Yeah. I don't know.
anyway, I can't remember.
We're out there.
You
Think
can,
think of your royalty check. What name?
They're so rare.
no, listen, the reason you get a royalty check if you're in the group is they used your recording.
That must have
We
been
did not
aired.
write or publish the Rain
That's
of
right,
Park and other
that's right.
Right. You didn't get your own publishing back then.
recording. Now we're in. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We love that.
Take it.
Yeah. And so we were talking a little bit before we came on the air, but you guys have quite a bit of new music, which is really exciting, and it's fantastic new
Thank you.
music.
We're very proud of
And
all of it.
and so, but you don't get to play that on this tour, on the Happy Together tour, because that's you got to do your hits. So are you guys gonna play out with your new music? Do you play out with your new music?
Well,
Continuously.
yeah, we have played out and doing Rhythm of the World songs. We did 6, I think, or 5 songs off of that. For a good couple of years.
And we're bringing more of our new stuff into our trio show because it's very difficult with everybody living all over the United States to rehearse or learn anything new, really.
Mhm.
And our audience in the winter it's different than the summer in that you can do your new stuff, some new stuff they want you to, so that's a good part of it. But they want some old hits too, and they
Of
want
course.
cover tunes that we are known to do.
And quite honestly, we don't. We make our music because that's what we do. But we are not about like that isn't something we need to push, people need to accept. We want to play music for people who want to hear what they want to hear.
Mhm.
We play it.
So great.
It's
Yeah.
A lot of artists don't feel that way. I mean, I went to see
No,
Dylan, and
really.
everybody in the audience was crying because he wouldn't do anything,
Yeah. But that's,
and
we're just we are really here for that mutual experience, not for our, hey, aren't we whatever. I mean.
Yeah, but we have Omnivore, who is our record company, and
They're awesome.
they have been incredible. And, they're putting these albums out hell or high water.
Yeah.
Whether we're out and doing a whole tour supporting that album.
that's fantastic.
It is.
They do wish, Brad, our president, there, he wishes during the Happy Together tour that, we could do something to help it out, but man, it is
It's not what it is.
Do you sell CDs? You must be able to sell your CDs.
We can and do whatever's
They're
out.
happening.
So as soon as whatever comes out, like when we get a hold of the Cocaine Drain CDs, they will be on our table.
Okay, so tell us about Cocaine Dream, because this is a re-release?
No.
No.
Okay, wait, Global is the re-release.
Yes.
Kind of.
But
Kind of.
Well, see, here's the thing. Things have been out, but we haven't released them, I think is what we're snatching on here.
here's the Rhythm of the World 2 years ago was the first new album
Yes.
for Omnivore.
Correct.
That got out. What Omnivore found out was we got a whole career worth of stuff that never got out because we mismanaged ourselves. So,
Oh, it never got out.
right, so they got a hold of Global, which we put out as a single when the internet arrived in 1998. But they gave it a broader release. The Cocaine Drain is a piece of work we did when Susan was 19 from 1978 with Chuck Blocken. 10 songs plus 5 bonus tracks that they heard and said, they just heard all our stuff and realized
we put this all out. We
this
said,
warrants a broader release for all of it. And we love them.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and also, well, the internet. So all these albums, even Cocaine Drain, for 15 years, you could go online and put a name of a song on Cocaine Drain and you're going to be able to
and here's
listen
a
to it.
really warbly recording of what somebody got somewhere from somehow, but they weren't released by us. But
Right.
everything is so available. What is
But
getting
you guys released Is Your Love Alive? That one you guys released, right?
Is Your Love Alive is the first release that Omnivore put out to bring attention to the Cocaine Drain album. That's the song that moved them the most when they heard the 10 songs. That
Great song.
put this out first and let people hear this. And that's how they do it these days.
Yeah.
There'll be a second one coming out too.
Right.
You know,
Before the album comes out.
it's just to
Exactly.
promote the album, but promote
They
the
drop
music.
singles.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I know you guys you do the Flower Power tour, the cruise. So when you do the Flower Power cruise, I assume also there you're playing your hits, you're giving people what they want, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So where might you play, since you're all over the place, that you live would get to play any of these things from the Cocaine Drain or whatever?
Cutting room would.
Yeah.
Oh, but only under a planned situation.
Yeah.
We are kind of like a workhorse. And we have been performing shows that we love, and every once in a while we'll bring in something new or not. But I can speak for us when I say when we start just doing all the new stuff, it is not the same fun as show. These songs,
Right.
And they're good.
and they're great. People
Great.
love them. And some of the hardcore fans get really ticked off that they
Yeah.
don't get more of it.
Right.
We find that our show is just more fun when we are not so boiled down in that. Those to me are kind of separate shows that we should do more of for fans who really want them.
Yeah. But
Right.
said that, where is our nest egg? It lies with the Flower Power
Come
cruise. It
on.
lies with the Happy Together tour. And the rules are the rules. And we follow them because, look, we're a very good cover band. The only live album we ever put out was 10 cover songs, okay? So have always been a cover band, and we're proud of it. We were one of the earliest tribute bands to the decade. And before that became even a phrase, we were doing everybody else's songs.
Yeah.
So we continue to do that and have fun.
Yes, and also like the cruise, we'll show you how this has to go. We were on a Concerts at Sea cruise, and we had a show where we would talk about Billy, and we'd do a song of his, we'd tell stories about Barry, do a song of his, and it was an evening with the Cowsills type of thing, and
Right.
and it was good. But
Very
me and
good.
Bob were sitting down at a table, and a gentleman came swooping up, and he sat down. He asked if he could sit down. He said yes, and he goes, "Hey, I just saw your show. It is incredible." He goes, "But listen, I'm getting a cruise together, and what we want is that, yeah, of course your hits, but then, you know, songs of all the other bands of your time." And their
Wow.
And this guy knew that we were cover people. He was like, and I know you guys, if you can come bring all those covers and your hits over to where I'm at,
Yep, we'll have a
that's gonna
home.
be a show.
We'll have a
So
home.
that's what you do on the Flower Power? You do
Yes.
covers? Well, Bob, the first time I saw you play out, it was at Fox and Hound. Susan was there that night. John was there that night. And you guys were doing some covers.
It's just
What
all
we
we do. It's all we do.
Because we do the Hollies now anyway, better than the Hollies.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is the point that I was going to make, is that on the Happy Together tour, which is unbelievable, and I don't know this one. This one might be completely different, but there were a couple of acts on the Happy Together tour that didn't quite sound the way they sounded back in the day. You guys, I believe, are still doing everything in the same key that you did it originally. Whoever heard of that? You're doing it with the same passion, the same fun. It sounds great every time. But not everybody's up to that task.
That's why we're lucky, and we're winners on that scale. We don't have warbly voices yet. We're still singing
Well-
all of our hits in the keys
But I
that they
gotta
were
also
recorded.
tell you that a lot of these folks out there don't give a hoot how their guy or girl is sounding. They
The
want
audience,
those
yeah.
songs. They want it, you know, I mean, we just have the luxury of our DNA sticking it out with us. We don't know when the guy's gonna fall here.
Yeah.
And
No, for
remember,
real.
in the day, our contemporaries were 20 and 30-year-olds, okay?
Right. Right.
Susan
Yeah.
Seven.
Right.
We are the youth
Unbelievable.
movement of the
We
Happy
are.
Together tour.
I-
So we're fine.
I wanna address one other thing about material, music, art, musicianship, entertainers, who we are in within that whole world. At the end of the day, Bob, Paul, and Susan for sure I think we're more entertainers and music, and we love to experience music in our body, like that minute of it. A great song. It isn't about being heard artistically, getting our message across, being artists today and not who we were. And it's none of that has ever, for whatever, and we keep making new music.
Right.
But we also don't pigeonhole ourselves. We're just this, But where it's always made the public happy and us happy is when we're up there just singing beautiful songs. Who cares who they are? And that is, I think, how come it works for us, because we don't, and if anybody has an individual scratch itch to, you just go do it. It's cool. I mean, I write my own songs, you know, big deal. I don't need, and I frankly don't need to do that out there either. I just think that what we're connected to is a movement, an era, a time in our lives that we were so lucky to be a part of, and we get to participate till it's over.
And nobody has our energy.
Yeah, I don't know where we get it.
Well, especially you, Paul.
I don't know where we get it.
I don't know where that comes from.
We don't.
And by the way, there's also a rule that we've always followed with the songs we cover. You got to sound just like the record.
Yeah.
We're not.
Which it's unbelievable that you guys do. That is the freakiest thing. And Bob, you specifically can sound like anybody. But Susan, I heard at a Wild Honey show, and I didn't do the research and I don't remember what it was. You did a cover of something that made me cry, and I can't you killed me. Oh God, I wish I could remember what it was.
I can give you either Sail On Sailor, or it was the Whispering Pines Graham Parson thing with Vicki, or it was Julia with Vicki. We did Julia. I did a lot.
It wasn't with Vicki. You were by yourself.
You
were by yourself. I'll think of it, and I'll
Anyway, let's hope you accolade me.
To serve.
No.
It was To Sir with Love. That's what it was. That's what it was. Thank you, Paul. Your version of To Sir with Love had me cry.
All right, I'm out of here.
Yeah, you guys kill the covers. You kill the covers.
Yeah, we love that.
So the Happy Together tour is like 3 months of your year. The Flower Power is, I don't know how, a month.
4 weeks.
Okay, and so the rest of the time, how much of your life are you together and playing music, or are you not?
Throughout the year, ongoing gigs on and off throughout the year till we get back.
1 or 2 per month.
Camp.
Oh,
Per
okay.
month. We're booked. Go to Cowsills.com. You'll go, holy cow, they're busy.
Yeah.
Because we have a full band show with our full band, but we have a trio show that we book where it's the three of us.
Stories, memories, and songs. I
Q&A.
just told that off.
And so, Bob, you're playing guitar and
Susan
3 voices.
Susan-
Susan's playing guitar.
Eric Clapton and Bob over
And
here.
the 3 voices, and it's enough, and it is a
Thank God
hoot.
for the voice.
And we got a lot of gigs with just a trio show. More intimate with the audience.
And we were actually a little intimidated by it, being that we didn't know really how people were gonna accept that. And so, you know, we always do our meet and greet after our shows, not the Happy Together, but everything else. And people whiz through, and man, I'm constantly going, so like, were you disappointed? Or, you know, it's just the 3 of us up there singing, you know, and
You're
it's a
hearing
busy
him
band.
about 3 people and 2
Yeah, and
guitars.
they just go, no, this is the most incredible show we've ever
Very
seen.
different.
It's, you know, we can hear your harmonies, and we can not have to worry about the drums being too loud or something being too
I
loud.
don't think they would even care if we sucked, because it's so stripped down. It's just like, what?
Yeah.
What's happening? But we
It's so great. So does John ever jump in and join you guys? Because I saw him jump in and join.
He has
Join you.
when it's appropriate, he does,
We
but
were-
he's got his own thing.
We received a Hall of Fame induction into the California Music Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
and Johnny was with us there. And it was,
He's
I saw the when you guys did the Rain Park and other things from there.
But now look, Johnny Boy's doing what he's always wanted to do, which points to the opposite of what we're doing. He wants to do the deep cuts, the originals. He sings for the Smithereens. He and Vicki did songs
Right.
Barry wrote. And
They're
those deep
really
cuts.
more the creative artist type who really want to kind of,
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
Okay, I've never asked this question of John or of you guys. How did that happen that he went off to do the Beach? I think the Beach Boys was his first.
thanks for that.
Yeah.
The Cowsills ebb and flow. We are either on or we're off. And John got a job with the Beach Boys.
That's a
And we-
career move.
they called him.
And he
So he did that when you guys weren't out touring.
Yeah, nothing going on.
and then we finally were getting more.
And for years now,
How long were you guys not doing the Cowsills?
till our brother Barry died. After Barry died, the 3 of us for the first time went out with
And for
this.
the first time in how many years would you say?
I don't know, before,
Original
the
Idols.
Idols.
Approximately, how long were you not doing it?
Like 4 or 5. I mean, we don't have giant gaps. Let's say, okay, so 90 something was global. The whole sample was on it, so that tells us a timeline.
And that's when
91.
we did clubs in the 80s.
So I got this.
Go ahead.
So 2005, I get a call from Bob. Okay, I'm building a prison in Central Oregon, outside of Madras, the town I live in. So I was there at the prison and I got a call. You know, me and Luann had moved up and the music thing had really just kind of dropped away. And anyway, so I'm in the prison, building the prison, and I get a call and Bob goes, "Hey, I know this is not what you're up to, but let me run something by you." He ran something by me. It was this original Idols concept, much like the Happy Together tour.
Bay City
And
Rollers.
I said, "Hey, yeah, I'll do it." And so it's just a one-off. So I go to my guy and my boss and I go, "Hey, I'm gonna go down and do a little bit of music. I need Friday off, And he goes, "Oh, great, that's great." And so then the three of us do it, right? And we're sitting there and we had so much fun.
So much.
And it was just a hoot. And we looked at each other and went, "Man, maybe we should, see about
Just
maybe
follow
getting
it.
back out there,
Yeah, follow it.
kind of follow what we're feeling here."
Mhm.
And so then Bob calls and he goes, "Yeah, and so what it got up to was me asking for a Thursday, Friday, and a Monday off. Because now we've got a couple more gigs and a couple more gigs. And my company went, "Hey, yeah, Paul, we're really happy you're doing your music, but we need a guy showing up here, on 5 days a week." And so I went.
And meanwhile, back at the ranch, Johnny's at the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's not impressed with the people we're.
He doesn't want it.
He doesn't think we're doing a great. We're like, dude, the Bay City Rollers. He went, "What? Hey, it's gonna be fun. Get out of here." Barry Williams, an old school
Bo
chum.
Donaldson, man.
Bill
Yeah.
Donaldson in the Haywoods.
John
and
called
Lace
me
Carrot.
John called me from Sweden and told me to not do the gig. It's a career killer. And I had to remind him we didn't have a
We didn't
career.
have- He was in Europe with the BBs. So look, it really, to answer the original question, he's had a job for 25 years and it was way better than anything we were doing until Happy Together, and then we were,
Also, if any one of us would have gotten a call, I don't care if we were booked for the whole week somewhere. If any one of us would have gotten that call, we would have went, "Guys, love you, but man, I'm out of here."
oh, the Beach Boys, yeah.
A high class act like that.
Sure. We are
We
just
would-
us.
It was not about like,
No.
"Oh, wow, John, you're leaving us." Dude, go do it, man.
Yeah, there's no high expectations
on
on
you.
this Cowsill thing. It's just God, it's kind of like being farmers, just like.
Well, and you had a gig with Vicki. I came and saw you and Vicki at McCabe's once, Susan.
Yeah, That was our Psycho Sister record that took us 22 years to make. Put it in 1 year, agged it because we joined the Drifters. It's like, that's exactly that. It's like, I'm not, and she's the motivated one. So she made that happen, which I'm grateful as heck for because it's a beautiful record.
Yes, it is.
And I love all that. But, again, that's a moment in time. I doubt it'll happen again because we need another 23 years, which. And we also have.
You're young, you've got it.
Yeah, but we have to also be unhappily married, which I don't picture either of us being to write cool songs. So there you go. I think I think that's over.
So, and Bob, when I first met you, you were doing a weekly thing. You were doing a monthly thing at, I think, Fox and Hounds, but you were doing the weekly acoustic solo thing.
Yeah.
And you were doing that for years and years, and you had like a day job.
28, yeah, 28
So
years.
do you ever just go out and play by yourself when you're?
No. I don't want to do that anymore. And I physically can't play past an hour and a half or 2 hours because I have a hand condition, which actually made me have to quit the pub
True
before the
story.
Happy
I
Together.
remember that, yeah.
So, no, I'm not interested in that anymore. That was a good run, but 28 years is enough. And I credit it for being a good singer in my older age because it's just a muscle.
Sure thing kept
So,
you in
I mean,
tune.
I was just, there were
Go, Bob.
many of those years were 5
Rita Clinton just said, "Did Susan bring her cowbell to the convo?"
Bob entered into that because he had these kids that needed to go to school. And they put them in, Notre Dame.
Catholic
And
school is
then,
expensive.
in college. And so he.
Oh, I know it.
Every day,
Do
every
that.
day, all day.
That was a real job.
So tell me what you guys do in the downtime, because there's quite a bit of downtime if you're doing only these things together. So for the 2 weeks that you're not together during the month or whatever, what are you doing?
Oh, on the breaks, you mean?
Yeah,
I'm farming.
You go home. Yeah, or
you go home, you spend time with your family.
grandkids, do all that.
Yeah, I have a very active life at
Yeah,
home.
that's a very easy thing. The challenge of
Downtime
this,
is not a word we use.
see, when you said
Well,
that,
you used to say snow days. You take snow days, right?
Still have those.
We had one yesterday because we out of where we were playing. We didn't have to go.
The Kentucky State Fair.
but here's,
Was it snow?
yeah, here's how trained we are. When you said, what do you do with your downtime? I'll bet you the three of us, I
don't
certainly
have
did.
any.
We thought you meant the 23 and a half hours that you have out
On
here
the road.
when you're not on
It's
stage.
my first thought, but I knew what she meant.
Yeah, the challenge of this tour is the time you're not on stage. Now, we have sound check every day and
But it's drove Kenny crazy. Kenny Erickson,
He couldn't handle it.
the 23 hours, man, he couldn't
Too
figure it
much.
out.
He didn't
Too
want
much.
to. It was just wasn't for him.
He
It's
was
not
excited to come out.
Although he goes out on the road with the Yardbirds.
Oh, no, he's
But
fine.
that's sporadic. This
Look,
is a little different.
we love this guy at the end of the summer. So we'll go, this poor man, he's not made for
Not
this.
for
Right.
everybody.
He got depressed.
The
and-
day-to-day.
Yeah.
Oh, I've known Kenny for years and years and years and years and just love him to death. So I can't even imagine him doing that gig. I just can't. But
He can't either anymore.
and Susan, I'm coming to New Orleans for the first time in my life. I have never been. And so I'm not going to walk into a club and you're going to be sitting there with a guitar playing. That's not going to happen.
That could
Depends on
happen.
when you're coming.
Like, do you do that sometimes?
She does it all the
I have
time.
a solo. Well, I play when I'm not with them. That's
Oh, okay. This is well, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there around Halloween. For my 70th birthday, I'm seeing McCartney in New
I have a
Orleans.
show on Broadway on Halloween night in New York City.
still haven't told my kid.
What?
Yeah.
The trio show at the Iridium on Times
What's
Square.
the Iridium? Like
I love the Iridium. That's a
What?
fabulous club.
We don't
Huh?
know.
What kind of building is it? I have no
It's
idea.
it's a beautiful,
Yeah, it's
intimate
small.
club with really good sound. It's in the middle of craziness of Times Square. You know, it's in that crazy neighborhood, but the club is nothing like that. And I think it's downstairs. It's a beautiful club. It's a
Cool.
beautiful club.
Cool.
And
That's
it's very intimate. People will be right there, you know,
Yeah.
But
yeah, right there. Very
so
close.
you will love going to New Orleans in October around if you're going to be there
Oh,
for.
Well, I've heard Halloween is insane there, which is part of the and I'm
Yeah.
turning 70 and we're going to McCartney on my birthday in New Orleans. How great is that?
Now that just got bumped up. You're going to have the best. The Dome is the best place to see McCartney.
Really?
Oh, baby, yeah.
And Snuffy's friends with Brian Ray, so maybe we'll get to go
Right.
back and
Well, if you do, I had a dear friend who was BFFs with somebody, and we got to be like literally, here's Sir Paul right here, and here I am, but I don't say nothing. And if he says that's cool, but if he don't, then I don't. And
Yeah.
Miss McCartney too. And but we could, because they were that tight, be right there, getting the food, seeing the thing. I never did see Paul, but the wife lady was out. So you're gonna have a great time, great sound, I find.
yeah. Well, we figured we could have done that or Nashville. We're going to Nashville first. We could have seen him there, but New Orleans we figured would be a smaller big thing.
It is
Right?
a big thing. I think you're gonna love it. I know we have. We saw him twice. It was amazing.
This is a
Fantastic.
great girl chat, kids. This is
So
good.
now I want to talk. So I'm segueing from Paul to the Beatles because I know how important the Beatles. Paul, I'm going to be 70. Paul, how old are you? I don't even know.
I'll be 74 in November.
Okay, but you were younger than Bob and Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the Beatles, I was 9. So you were old enough to register the Beatles. Susan, not.
Yeah, you
What
know,
do you mean?
Were you? You were this.
We watched the TV. We watched
Do you
it
remember?
Sunday though, before the Beatles ever
Well,
came on.
She's thinking
Topo
19,
Gigio.
she's thinking 1962 when you're 2. And
No,
it's surface
64.
thing.
No,
64. Okay, so now, did you guys watch the Ed Sullivan documentary that
watch
just
the
came?
Sullivan Show, and look at.
But did you watch the documentary that just came out?
no, we're looking forward
Not another one.
to it. It's
Okay, so go ahead, Paul.
Well, you were going to ask. I thought you were going to ask
how do you like seeing
did
the
I
Beatles
like the
on the show?
Beatles?
So did the Beatles do for you? I know Bob's told me.
Yes, Bob and Bill and maybe even Barry and John, but they were really little. So I would just have to stay with Bill and Bob. Man, that's all they did was Beatles songs, Beatles songs. In fact, me and Bob were having a conversation the other night about some song, and I just don't remember that song. And you know all the words, he says to me, and I go, well, that's because all you knew and all you cared about was the Beatles.
Which is why it's memorable for us younger people. We watched that show with them, but they took it to the max.
Yeah, and the thing is, so I'm in the 7th grade, okay, and so the bus stop was a big part of my life, okay? Every morning going up there, the girls were there, and we had this whole thing going on at the bus stop. And man, I remember going to the bus stop on that Monday morning after the Beatles were on Ed Sullivan, and those girls had nothing to do with us. They could have cared less about us. And I'm going, wow, these 4 guys are doing this to the whole world. And so, I had kind of a, and I was a Simon and Garfunkel fan. I had my own bands that were, for me, like the Beatles were for Bob and Bill and a whole million trillion other people. They just never sat with me that way.
There was a Garfunkel story that you told Bob about Simon and Garfunkel's. Wait a minute, they had a song come out when you had your first record come out that didn't,
that
right?
was the radio contest with All I Really Want to Be Is Me, our first release on Joda Records, that WPRO in Providence.
Yeah, and it was Sounds of Silence.
The first time we were on the radio.
Yeah.
Well, they put our song as a newcomer against another song, another newcomer, and the listeners voted who's going to be a hit. And we loaded up the All I Really Want to Be Is Me. So all the cousins and aunts and uncles called WPRO. We slammed the Sounds of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel, which didn't win that night. And I remember all of us guys, we heard Garfunkel's name and we didn't really believe that was a name of anybody.
Yeah.
Named Garfunkel.
Yeah.
What the heck's Garfunkel mean?
Well, he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Well, we're 15 and 13. We're listening to our hit record. That's what we think.
First night, I remember hearing Sounds of Silence, and I don't remember it. I remember that radio show that we're talking about here, but we might have been somewhere. Anyway, we had this hole in the station wagon and we were coming home from Holyoke, Massachusetts or something. And all of a sudden I'm hearing this song, Sounds of Silence. And I'm looking down through the hole and I'm watching the highway go by in the winter. And man, I just thought to myself, what a freaking song that is. And I fell in love with those guys, man. And they were my Beatles.
Yeah, when that became the hit, it was humbling for us as a band that became the hit. In a subtle way.
Yeah.
Where you did think like, oh, I was wrong about that one.
Yeah.
I Am a Rock. And I heard I Am a Rock going to church one day. And man, it was like, oh yeah, these guys are rocking.
Okay, so this is a question I've never asked you guys. Have you gotten to meet your hero? Bob, have you gotten to meet any Beatles? Have you gotten to meet your heroes? No.
I had a lot of colleagues that I respect in this business, especially the older I got, and especially through the Happy Together tour and other shows we're doing. We're all finding each other now.
Yeah.
And it's terrific.
Yeah. But it's interesting because we found out something maybe a year ago, it might be 2 now, how time flies by. But somebody out in the world, a fan or something, came into our world and was saying, oh wow, yeah, Glenn Campbell and this and that. And we're going, what? Well, we found it, and it's Susan and us up on a stage, and I'm holding Susan up, and she is giving Glenn Campbell his Grammy Award. And we didn't really remember it, but Susan had this.
What happened was, it was the year Glenn died, and somebody from the Cowsill group posted a picture, and the picture was of us at a podium, all dressed up in fancy outfits,
Tuxedo.
and Paul lifting me up, and I have something in my hand that I am reading on the mic, which was, the winner is Glenn Campbell for By the Time I Get to Phoenix. We knew then at that Grammy show. We had a very big famous night there, everybody in new clothes.
That was the Four Seasons all night.
We have a memory of the evening. That part would not register until we saw this photo about 5, 6, whenever Glenn died. And I've always adored him. And I'm like, my God, no wonder. I mean, I must have felt like his mother. I'm giving him his first Grammy. I didn't even, and he came out and took it from us.
Like daughter, yeah, right.
But I always felt connected to him. I didn't have a visceral memory of that. It's pretty cool.
Is there anybody that you've met that Well, like being backstage and Paul's wife was there, but you didn't get to actually see Paul. But is there anybody that you've gotten to meet along the way that you were just in awe of that just kind of took your breath away? And
Yeah, my one right now, because I would have, back in 64, 65, if you would have ever told me I was going to become friends with little Anthony,
oh
this
my
guy
God.
has blown me away
Oh
in,
my
in that way where you just go, okay, I'm not even near your greatness, that kind of thing, and you're so
Every
happy
night.
you finally met him and you got to meet him and get to know him. And the tour made that possible. It's amazing.
So, okay, so is it good to meet your heroes in this case? Is he a wonderful person? Is he?
Yes, yes, he's a
Incredible.
sweetheart.
He comes up to us all the time, to me anyway, and he goes, professional. You guys are
Or
professional.
he loves you.
Yeah, yeah. But
Paul and Chuck and
yeah, I got to meet Chuck Negron, who, I was on the road and I had a girlfriend who became my wife. And, every time I wrote a letter, I ended it, one is the loneliest number.
Oh,
So now
Super cute.
we're on a bus, and he's an arm's distance from me on his bunk. I'm on the
Pretty
opposite side bunk. And
yeah,
I told him this story, and I think he was thinking I was trying to razz him. He didn't believe
No.
me, and he got a little uptight with me. And then he learned over the years. Now we're dear friends, of course, and he knows that was really special to me. But to digress just a tad, we were little. We were really little. We played with all the biggies. Okay, everybody. We've been on every show with every biggie, but we never met anybody because the old man would gather us all up, sweep us up, and get us out of wherever we were. And we never got to, because even on a lower scale, just let's take the Buckinghams, or any of the bands that we've played with.
right.
We finally did get to meet them. And the fun thing for us out here and has been for our past is that they all remember us better than we remember us or them.
We were very shy. Look, me and Paul were in a club, and we got to tell Gary Puckett this, and this is the fun stuff, where in 1969, we lived in Santa Monica, and Gary Puckett and we went down to this place called Lenny's Boot Parlor.
Yeah.
And Gary Puckett
See
was
him in
in
there.
Lenny's Boot Parlor
Of
at the
course he
time.
was.
And we're all famous. But me and Paul are hiding behind a coat rack, staring at Gary Puckett. We didn't even go up to him. We never, ever approached him in that store. We watched him leave, and we thought, man, that was Gary Puckett.
Yeah,
Holy
we saw
freaking
him.
God.
Well, there was nothing bigger than Young Girl. I mean, Young Girl was like,
we had hair. We
Yeah,
were number
very
one.
famous at that.
right, you.
But we're hiding
Well,
in the coat rack. And we got the number one record on KHJ.
oh
But
my
And if we
God.
would have gone up
It's
to
just
Gary,
different.
it would have made perfect sense
Yeah.
to
Of
Gary.
course. Well, have you told him that? Of course, you've told him that story,
Oh, yeah.
which I'm sure he got a kick out of.
Totally.
I'll tell you, my favorite guy that I worked with, that I was dreading working with, was Dean Martin. And I was dreading because, of course, he's a womanizing, drinking bachelor, all the things that we all knew Dean to be. But I loved him in the Jerry Lewis, Dean Martin show, movies. And
Sure.
I liked him, but I knew who he was, and that's fine. I dealt with these people all the time on a daily basis. So when I'm asked to do this show separately from the guys, because he would have
Oh.
new on, yeah. I was like, well, here we go. No big deal. But he was like a complete surprise. He was
How so?
just a grandpa. He was a gentleman.
Oh.
And hello, nice little girl who probably feels really awkward. Let me make you feel more comfortable. He talked
Oh.
grandkids, all the things we're doing. I'm on his lap, we're singing. I have to put my hands around him. And the whole time he's going, so my little granddaughter's name is Jody. How old? Look around her. And I'm like, I'm 9. He's like, she's 9. And I'm like, she's 9. You have a granddaughter named Jody. He's 9. And it just, but he was really, and he kept saying things to me like, you don't have to do the things the ladies are saying behind me. You just get comfortable. Tell me where my hands are comfortable while we're getting ready to sing this love song to one another. So,
What did you sing with him?
Shine on Harvest Moon. It's amazing, and I love it. And the thing of it is I had a kind of creepy week. So here I was, and the surprise was that the biggest guy that everybody said was going to be all these horrible things was amazing.
I love that.
And it's and so, it can be a really wonderful moment. And then you can meet Arthur Godfrey, who supposedly has a kid show and likes kids, and he's the meanest son of a gun you ever saw.
Really?
Yeah, Arthur Godfrey was mean.
Okay, so we have a mutual connection I have to ask you guys about. So Carl Reiner published my book, and I love Carl so much, and I know Carl is a big part of your story. If not for Carl, you might not have had one of your biggest hits of all time, maybe your biggest. So tell us the story of how Carl factors into the Cowsills, because it's crazy.
Well, the last time we saw Carl was he was very, very old, and we're old. And I just never remember looking up. He goes, "Well, look at you, you're all grown up." But anyway, back in '69, we were living in Santa Monica, and Lee Mendelson Productions is what this all came through. Okay. But from Carl, it was his idea to have the Cowsills record something they could lip sync to from Hair, the title song, because we're going to have them on a TV special, put them in wigs, and we're going to have a lot of fun with them. All of that's going to take place. At the time, we just listened to the song. We had never really heard of the musical. We live in a shell. But we hear
How much after the musical was on Broadway? This was right at the same time, right?
yeah, whatever,
Right at
69.
the same
Yeah,
time.
it's all happening kind of at once.
Yeah.
And so we get this song but it's not 69, it's 68, okay? When we record it.
Right.
It's gonna come out in 69, but it's the end of 68. So we have 2 days to record Hair before we go on the Indian Lake tour. So we go in and we record what you heard. And it was quite the 2 days. It was just fantastic.
Where did you record it?
At a studio down on Fairfax with Angel Ballesteros, who was the engineer. And the studio, all I remember, I don't remember the name of it, was the one where Jimi Hendrix recorded it on Fairfax. So everyone can look.
Wow.
So it's the 2 days. Roy
Including us.
Sakala was our engineer in New York, and we had moved to LA, and he had called Angel to take care of us when we get out there if we need any help recording and stuff. So that's who we went to. Okay, at the end of the second day, we had finished. The last thing was Aunt Spaghetti, and we were out of there and back on tour. We sent it to MGM because we thought it was a good song. They didn't like it because remember, we're riding Indian Lake. Indian Lake's our hit. This is not Indian Lake or the band who did it. You know, it's just, who is this? Who is this? So they
Wow.
they turn it down. We don't care because we're in the middle of like
This
our
was a
career.
Carl Reiner TV show.
Our career,
We don't
we've had a
care.
hit, we haven't had a hit, we haven't hit, we haven't had a hit. Now we got this, we're only gonna lip sync it anyway. We just thought it sounded better than, we were surprised. So now unbeknownst to us.
Now, do
over
you
the-
think this is a fun idea? Are you guys into
Oh, yeah,
putting on
yeah.
the wigs and doing this whole thing?
Very
Yeah.
much. Fashion and culture of the 60s. It was
This-
very
Well,
fun.
how did your mom feel? I saw it, and your mom is wearing a wig. How did she feel about this?
So she was not involved really much in this except on the TV special.
Right.
Mom's not on the record. We didn't even involve,
She enjoyed doing that video because of the clothes. though.
No.
Just to-
and she's with us and she got the gist of it, you know. And by
Uh-huh.
that, in our career, we only had 2 days. We didn't want to bother Mom. It's a lip sync for
Yeah,
television,
it wasn't
okay?
necessary. Just get her
And we
dressed
all
up
take a
and-
verse and all that.
And you're not thinking for a second you're going to have a hit record out of this.
No,
It's not
No.
even close. We're getting a TV show
it was a
done.
homework
It's happened a
assignment.
million times.
Yeah.
You have to record
Yeah.
for Dick Clark a lot.
It's-
You'll record
Yeah.
and then you lip sync what you recorded. There's just the stuff you have to do sometimes. on
just was-
TV.
Did you guys even know who Carl Reiner was at that point of your life? Oh, yeah, you knew. Okay.
He died.
Because you watched the Dick Van Dyke Show, so right?
And he was a huge
They were
star.
there.
He was on the Dick Van
A
Dyke show.
comedian.
Yeah, he was
He died.
Alan Petrie. Was that his yeah.
Oh, he was Mr.
Rob Petrie, yeah.
No.
No, not Rob Petrie. He was his boss. I can't think. Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Anyway,
I'll think of it.
yeah, Laura was the wife. But
Laura,
anyway, whatever.
yeah.
Rob Petrie.
Yeah.
His name was Alan something.
Oh, Carl
Okay.
was great. The other thing is about that is that it's not going to come out until May of 1969. Okay, it's going to sit in the vault until the TV special. Now, if you're on NBC and you got a TV special, that is a big deal. So MGM did wake up and say, oh, and they also found out that over there you have Aquarius in the Fifth Dimension. Over there you have Three Dog Night and Easy Be Hard.
Those songs were already out?
No, they're all coming out together.
Oh.
So all of us were
Oliver
part of a
also.
movement. Oliver with Good Morning Starshine.
And we don't know what came first, chicken or the egg, but
Right.
Hair came out first.
They're all going to the top 10 at the same time. All million songs.
Wow.
Everyone's got their story.
It's
How
weird.
did you get your song? Just from Carl Reiner. You talked to Chuck Negron. I heard Jennifer Warren sing it at the Troubadour. Everyone's got their story of how they got there.
Wow.
And it took off and we all took off with it.
Wow. Wow. That's just so crazy.
Kind of story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you got to see Carl again later in life, and
Yeah.
did you get to say thank you because you gave us like the hit of our career?
I think he half remembers half,
He was
Yeah.
very old,
He was really,
but he did remember us because he said, look at, you're all grown up.
yeah, he
But-
did. It took him a minute.
There was a time in Carl's older life, if you sat him down, reminded him of this episode, he'd go, what are you talking about? And so it's like that kind of thing. There's probably a memo on a Post-it to Lee Mendelson, get the Cowsills, get them to do hair.
Us working with guys like Carl Reiner's gonna stick in our heads more than Carl Reiner working with us kids on the
Yeah,
Cowsills.
I don't know.
You know,
Carl,
no.
I used to sit around with Carl and he would tell stories and he
I just-
remembered. Yeah.
There are people who will always resonate with us that they may or may not even know us.
Yeah, most of them.
You know?
So like, was there anybody else that was pivotal like that got you? Okay, so let's tell the story of the Rain in the Parking Lot, because I'm sorry, I can never hear that song without it evoking 9,000 emotions inside of me. Makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me feel. It's still, and I don't know if you guys know, but Bob sang it in my living room with Ed Asner in the back of the room. And that video, I still get comments every single day. It has almost 250,000 hits. Bob sang it, and the women, he got to the chorus,
Vital.
and 50, 60 women in my living room started singing the chorus, and Bob just stopped because he was so surprised. And somebody wrote yesterday on my YouTube that that's their favorite YouTube moment of all time, is when you reacted to the women.
But that was Women Who Write or something like that.
It was Women Who Write. Yeah, it was my Women Who Write salon. Yeah. But it was just such an amazing thing, what that song has meant to all of us who lived through that time. I mean, it is.
We are very fortunate and very lucky and very happy that we have hair as a record.
Because hair was the one that made you money, right? The Rain in the Park and other things didn't make you money.
No. I think he thought you were talking about hair.
No, I wasn't talking about hair. I was talking about the Rain in the Park and other things.
Yeah,
which-
I thought you were talking about.
No, I was talking about the Rain in the Park. So how did that song come to you guys?
Rain in the Park, hit it, Bob.
Oh, okay, ready?
Yeah.
So
And
We've been dropped-
forward.
we had been dropped from 2 labels,
Right.
Joe and Mercury Phillips. At Mercury Phillips, we met and had as our producer Artie Kornfeld, who was a staff producer at the time, like a 22-year-old kid.
Staff.
And we got assigned to him. Now, at first, he's in horror at the assignment, but we're gonna all fall in love. He's gonna become our George Martin. They're gonna drop us from Mercury Phillips. Artie gets angry at Shelby Singleton. Artie quits Mercury Phillips with us. He and Steve Duboff write the Rain, the Park, and Other Things for us. He takes us into the studio, still a foursome of brothers, into New York on his own money. We record the Rain, the Park, and Other Things. Between getting out of that session and being done with the recording of the Rain, the Park, and Other Things and getting signed to MGM, they have put our mother in our group.
Okay, so I've heard the story, but I'm not sure everyone out there has. Tell the story. How did you feel about your mother being put in the group?
No, we didn't think that was the solution to being dropped from 2 labels. Was the solution is put your mother in the group. We're gonna have a million seller. It did candidly make us different from every other Beatle clone band at the time, and we wanted to be that also. So that happened. Now we got to get Mom back on the Rain, the Park, and Other Things. We go back into the studio, put her on the record. It all takes off. It's beautiful.
Wait, I thought you're the one singing the parts that.
Mom, well, okay. Mom went out into the studio and she couldn't do it. She had never recorded in her entire life. So I went out and stood next to her. She put one earphone on her right ear and I put one headphone on my left ear and left the inner ears open. And I sang the melody with her and they recorded that. And the melody in the chorus, I love the flower girl, is me and Mom. And that's how we got her through it. I just kind of coached her through it, but did it with her. We doubled it at the same time, which we did all the time as recording artists and tripled and did all kinds of, we're going to really get into it, you know, so that's what we did with her. The big challenge of Rain the Park was looking at it as a rock band, trying to figure out how we're going to do that song live, because we didn't go live and create our sound and go into the studio. We built the sound in the studio and took it out.
Right.
That's a whole different avenue.
Way, yeah.
All right, but and there's no, at the time, there's no synthesizers, there's no keyboards that are gonna help you reproduce anything that you're looking at in terms of harps and strings and horns, but it's coming. And then you're gonna learn that your voices, your vocals, that's the most important thing in your performance, no matter what.
So we peeled them all out of the
So
record and made.
we've
them-
always done well because we're good singers, no matter, this is
Plus,
that.
because you're siblings, you have that magic
Yeah,
that
but-
only siblings
We have
can
a
have.
natural doubling that
sound-
occurs or quadrupling.
It all worked out great for us.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's worked out great.
And so now, Susan, you weren't in the band then. Now, Paul, you weren't in the band for the Rain, the Park, and other things, were you? No.
Correct.
We came in on Weekend Fly together.
Okay, so now how did that happen? Why are now you coming
did.
into?
Well, I went up to my dad and just told him, I said, yeah, I'm ready to get in the band. He goes, what can you do? I go, man, anything you want me to do. And so they started giving me, Knock on Wood and Mickey's Monkey and Mustang Sally. And I was this guy that.
Now, this is long before We Can Fly. This guy, Paul was we called him our quote unquote soul brother.
Yeah,
In our live show before MGM.
I was not recording.
No, I don't know why that happened.
Yeah, I don't
Sometimes
either.
we can't figure it out. But anyway,
Yeah.
there's a gap between Paul's history where he's gone. Okay, but it's not the military, it's a young boy.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's our soul brother. He dresses in white and he comes out and sings Mickey's Monkey from the Lion, drives the audience nuts. But somehow he's not on Rain the Park because we really are focused on the four brothers in terms of the core four that's gonna catapult and then, and build around it. Now, Mom's coming in next.
Now, why are they bringing your whose idea is this to bring your mother in and why?
Probably Dad, and Lenny Stoga was our manager at the time,
But we don't actually know.
because it wasn't MGM's, because by the time MGM's in play.
But it wasn't your mother pushing her way into
Oh,
this.
God,
No, she.
No.
The last thing my mother wanted to do ever was on stage, even at very earliest times, when we were doing folk music, she would be standing and her knees were just shaking. I mean,
Oh.
they were just
Yeah. it was
going,
pretty
she was
sad.
that nervous.
And Artie Kornfeld also was overruled on this issue. He did not want Mom in the band. We had something going. Yeah, we got dropped from 2 labels and we're gonna get a third yes, which is like, oh, that's unheard of, but we got it. And so now, but we're building a sound here. You listen to most of all with just the 4 of us, but that's heading
I
toward
love that song.
in the park and other things. And with Susan and Paul coming in, I mean, we increased the vocal stack, we've increased the live vocal sound. I mean, we knew Paul could sing. He was
Okay, now Paul was already kind of singing with you, not recording. Susan, how do you get your teeny little thing?
Have no idea.
Have no idea.
no,
I mean,
Did you sing live first or did you sing in the studio first?
no, she sang live because she sang with us, the brothers, at home. Of course, we're building.
Right.
I
the sound.
wanted to be in the band, but was told that I could not until I could actually sing.
Yeah.
By my oldest.
So with We Can Fly, she and Paul,
I
of course,
arrived.
Paul is
He'd
joined.
been there.
Paul has joined me and, no, he arrived with We Can Fly. He had joined me and Bill in the guy vocal stack.
Yeah.
She's joining Barry and John you can hear it on the album. And this high harmonized part of the vocal stack is these young kids, it's so little. And she could sing at 7. I mean, she could sing.
Unbelievable.
And you're in, you
Yeah.
know.
That was, there you go. That's what happened.
But it was like that. But the real detail of it with involving Dad and Mom and decision making,
Got
we're
no
not
idea.
we're not in the room. We're not in the
We'll
room.
Yeah.
never know.
Did you ever do a concert with the Jackson 5 or with the Osmonds? Did they ever put you guys together?
No,
No.
Never.
never.
Wow. Did you ever meet them did you ever run into them? Did you know them?
I have met Donnie and I kind of met Michael.
And we know that Michael Jackson,
He's a huge fan.
one night was driving down Sunset Boulevard and called the owner of Tower Records to please come and open up the store because he needed to get his favorite song of all time. And what was it?
We're in the park.
Rain the Park and other
He wanted
things.
a Cowsill. He changed locations. That's a great story.
Wow, I love
Maria-
that.
Susan
Oh,
did
Marie.
Marie
Yes,
Osmond.
I
Yeah.
met Marie Osmond.
Yeah. We want to get her on
I
our
love
podcast. We want to get her on the Cowsills podcast. So Marie, if you're listening,
Oh, I just-
get a hold of us.
So tell us about before we get to the podcast, I wanted to ask you, so
Check my laundry.
Well, all right. So tell us about the podcast.
Yeah.
Why did you guys start doing a podcast? And tell us about it.
Well, there was a guy that came to us, our executive producer. He's going to become Rock Positano. He goes, in the pandemic, you guys should do a podcast. We're brand new to the whole concept. Zoom is just taken over for classrooms.
We thought he meant a blog.
Yeah, we thought blog.
I knew what you meant.
People want to really hear our thoughts. I don't know about that. But we looked into it,
And it made sense.
learned Zoom,
Yeah.
and decided, yeah, three of us can be hosts. And we have 186 episodes now. So we've never
It's fantastic. And what's really great about the three of you is that nobody monopolizes. You all kind of have your area that you talk. So when you're now, is it difficult when you're interviewing someone?
No,
You have guests, right?
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we have
we've
guests.
gotten really good. I imagine our first couple, it might have been a little waka waka, but we are really good at knowing when the other guy's talking and not to stamp on each
We have
guy.
signs that we do in the Zoom.
Yep.
And we also have
Oh,
topics.
I saw you interview Peter Noon. That was one that I watched.
Well,
That,
Peter.
Yeah.
Peter gets close to the camera. We
But
love
we
him.
have learned how to do a podcast and how to have a guest on and to make that seamless and
We
have a lot
picked
of fun.
a
with
lot of questions that we know we want to ask them.
it. Yeah.
So those are intact in our minds, and everybody's got a little space to do their thing in. So it is kind of mapped out, but very loose.
Yeah.
And we've done what we're all doing. We've created a library of interviews.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody that we can think of, from Pat Boone to Gary Puckett to whatever.
Miami
And you've done it,
Steve,
you've
which
done
is-
it too.
Led us to a radio
These
station.
are important
Yes.
interviews because it's the people themselves giving their own history. That's a really good thing.
Tell them about our radio.
And, yeah,
show.
and we even launched a radio with a guy, Mike Kurtner. He heard the value of that library, and we have a radio show, the Cowsill Chronicles, out of West Virginia, every Sunday night at noon and 10 p.m. 97.9 The River, who takes our podcast and builds a radio show around the guests. So you get deep cuts from Peter Noon, you get deep cuts from the Righteous Brothers, or something else, or from us. So
fantastic.
they're having a blast.
In 2 weeks, I'm interviewing Tommy James, and I have to tell you, my very first concert, I was like 9 years old, and I saw Tommy James and the Shondells at the Westbury Music Fair, and I've never met him. It's going to be my first sit down with it. That's crazy. That's 60 years ago. That's crazy that stuff. And so when you get to interview these people that, are part of the fabric of your life, it archives it forever. I've interviewed so many people that have passed,
Yeah.
from Carl and Norman Lear and all of these people. And I used to go to their homes and their offices and interview them in their own space, or they would come to mine. And so it's, Ed Asner, I interviewed Ed in his den with his awards around him. He's wearing boxer shorts and eating pizza. I mean, come on. That's like,
We became good friends with Tommy and because Tommy was one of those big artists that he lived at 888 where we lived. And so we would go to his apartment. He'd always let us
We
in.
saw them all.
aw.
And so when we got back to this time of life, he was so happy that
Yeah.
we were
a
okay.
sweet reunion.
But he was a rock god to
Oh,
us.
yeah, he was.
I mean, we got to share this one with him. So we opened for him at Annapolis when we were all famous. And we wear these purple tuxedos, so we don't feel real cool. But we're dressed for the show for some reason. But Tommy's arriving in a limousine, and we haven't seen him yet. And so we're lurking behind these bushes as he arrives in our tuxedos. Man, he steps out of that limousine and looks around. He's got bullets crisscrossing his chest.
Yeah.
He's got a hat on. He looks like a rock god. He looks like a band we want to be in. Not the one we're opening for him. Although we understand why we're opening. And it just to stare at that and go, in my dreams, I'll never be that. But we're young and impressionable, we're all sick, young teenagers,
I would imagine it must have been crazy when you met Mark and Howard. And I mean, because the Turtles, right? You grew up with the Turtles like I did, didn't you?
Like meeting old uncles that you always were you had, but you
Yes.
never met, and then
It's
finally
such-
you meet them.
It's such late in life. Now, Howard is, I'm gonna meet him for the very first time on a dark path on the first week of the tour. We're gonna walk by each other. And I only recognize him in a more of a silhouette. I think that's Howard Kamen, because I'm gonna get to know everybody. We're all gonna love each other, but we're not.
Right.
So I looked at him and I just said, hey, and he said, hi, and we just kept walking. But I had never seen him. And I remember thinking, God, I hope that guy can sing. And he's gonna be the best singer in camp. I'll learn
Yeah.
that lesson, but you do profiles sometimes, people, and he just was we're all so old.
Yeah, he didn't look like Howard.
But his voice, I couldn't believe it. It
I
was
know.
amazing
Yeah.
when he
He
sung.
still sounds amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So do you ever go to places, venues to see music? Do you do that or do you not do that?
I do. I don't know
You
about
do.
No, I don't. I
You don't.
And I only go at home because they're friends. I wouldn't just go out and seek out listening to
I'd
music.
have to drive about 4 hours to see
Yeah,
anybody
he couldn't
famous.
if he wanted to.
Yeah, that's an age-related response, actually, Vicki, because I don't, in the same way, I don't go to Dodger games anymore either. I don't want the night out, that's all. Is this to do with music or the
Right.
artist?
For me, it actually is like I don't need to go hear music. I don't know, it's not something I'm compelled to do. But if my friends are playing, then I am, because then it's like,
I totally get it. We went to see Keb Mo this week. He's a good friend. Do you know Keb Mo? You
No.
must know Keb. No? Oh, I'm going to send you something. Keb Mo's
I know
amazing.
no music. I just don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So somebody wrote, by the way, it was Alan Brady was Carl's name, and Nicholas Guzman is on here and sends his love to all of you. And Bob, I don't know if you remember this, but when one of the times you came and did my living room and did this show with me, Christina was working the camera, his mom.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know if
right.
Bob is, oh yeah, you kind of met those
But-
guys, yeah.
Is that who passed? I mean,
Yeah, Christina passed, but she was working the camera and she was
The Guzman-
participating.
Guzman's-
And Christina was quite the gem.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I know you guys have to do a show tonight, and I so appreciate you taking the time to talk to us because it's always a treat.
very fun. Thank you.
Bob knows, but Susan, I think you know. Paul, you probably don't know, but the Cowsills were everything to me. I am your age, I am your peer, you were my guys because
wow.
you were kids, like I was a kid. You
Yeah.
were all over my walls, and I've told you I was a Barry, but I loved you all. And
So we all can handle it. Everybody's, we all do a Barry thing.
You were a Barry.
Everybody's a Barry.
I was come on, he was so cute. It was ridiculous how cute he was. It was ridiculous. It was crazy cute. But I loved you all, and I still do, and I am so grateful to spend this time with you, and I can't wait. So, where is the best place for people to buy your music for you? Where's the best place?
You got Cowsill.com and the Cowsill Facebook page. Sorry, those two go. But you can find our podcast everywhere podcasts are shown. We have YouTube content that if you have a week, you can get through all of it. I mean,
And music is everywhere you find
it's everywhere.
And so it's no better for you if they get it from this place or this place. You don't
It's
care.
all connected now. It's all connected. We got Cocaine Drain coming out the 19th. We got the acapella. We're going to go back into the studio and acapella of Cocaine Drain, The Rhythm of the World, a global song, and finish that for next year, 27 probably, or 28 even, who knows. So a lot going on.
A lot going on.
So we didn't talk about that. So the acapella thing is all in the can, right?
No, we're not done
Oh.
yet. We're still recording.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but much of it is done, and we just dipped into that and then got back to our lives. We're going back to that. Omnivore is very excited. It's a little bit of beyond acapella, but it is only voices.
Well, I heard a couple tracks and they were brilliant, so I can't wait for that to come out. I love you all. Have a wonderful show tonight. Please send my love to Godfrey. Thank you so much for doing this.
You got it,
Same to
Abby.
you, Abby. Thanks a lot, man. Have a great rest of your day.
See you, Vicki.
Bye-bye.
Vicky, oh, sorry.
That's all right.